Stop.
Great, I'm recording. Hello, Graded Gem, aka Connor and Tom. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's
that's
correct.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk at the same time.
Ooh.
Everybody talk at the same time. We're so happy to be talking to you today. And so I guess just to start, would love to know a little bit more about each of you. So maybe Connor, you go first, Tom, you go second. Like, how did you get started with Pokemon? How did it evolve into the business that and the YouTube channel you guys have today?
Okay, yeah, cool. So I started this 4 years ago as Graded Groudon, which is my Instagram profile. If you go on to our YouTube channel and go on oldest videos, you'll see a load of rubbish videos of me opening Pokemon cards. And to be fair, my best ever video was the one with the collecting and investing, and that did really well. I probably should have looked at that and seen a point to talk more about it.
That and your worst returns.
And my worst PSA returns, where I got sent in loads of Neo Genesis and I got a load of PSA 7s and 8s. And I literally told everyone to stop watching after 5 minutes. So yeah, I did that for a good 2 years. And there was an opportunity for Tom to come down, and he is excellent with all this tech stuff. This is all him, the website stuff. And he's really helped with Graded Gem. And that's, yeah, so it's just evolved from that. I'll let Tom jump in on the 2 years.
Yeah, so my whole thing before coming and down working was games. So I worked in games development, Pokemon. Then I taught kids how to code, and I was like, Pokemon's always been the biggest game of my life. And I was like, Connor was like, do you want to come play with Pokemon cards? Pretty much. And I was like, yes. Then since then we've kind of.
It wasn't a hard sell.
No, I literally quit my job as a teacher. And moved into his parents' spare room.
So you said before being a teacher, you were a game developer?
Yeah, so I did games development at uni, and then went straight into teaching. So it was really weird. I was like playing games all day, and then Connor was like, Pokemon cards? I was like, yeah, that's a natural progression. Let's do that.
And now you're teaching people about Pokemon finance and investing. So there's a connection. Yeah. So is this what both of you do full time right now?
Yeah. So Graded Gem takes both our time full time.
More than full time.
More than full time. I would say for the UK and Europe, like we submit in a lot of cards for a lot of people, a lot of collectors, and we like to kind of show ourselves as collectors ourselves. I've got quite a big collection of cards. I love collecting. I love getting those cards, and we kind of like to have that more friendly, personable service, which we're hoping James can do in the US. Plug that in.
Yeah, sure.
We've Graded Gem US, and we're hoping collectors could see through us and hopefully have a good time with our service for sure.
Yeah, because you're like the collector and I'm just a nerd.
Yeah.
Like I'm just anything Pokemon or anything gaming. I've started collecting Harry Potter boxes.
Yeah.
Booster boxes, sealed ones. And I'm just like, yeah, anything nerdy. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so I want to learn more about some of the PSA grading aspect about all this. I don't know if you saw, but Jake and I recently did a video sort of diving into it. And my whole thing was like, as a PSA newbie, right? Like the whole user experience was just terrible. Like I just didn't feel like helped throughout the process. And so I know that's a big part of what you do. So can you basically just start from the beginning, explain sort of how your system works? And I'm curious to hear all angles of it, right? How it feels like from the customer's perspective, but also from a business perspective, like how you make enough margin, right, to keep it going.
Yeah. So we have a great relationship with PSA, and we've obviously got direct contact there. And we're, from a personal perspective, PSA have always been great with me. But that's obviously because we have more submissions and stuff like that. It's almost like by everyone grouping into submissions, it means we get that priority service. So that if you're sending in 100 cards by yourself, obviously PSA are rammed at the moment. And if you're sending an email to PSA, they're probably not going to see it for a bit. You're probably not going to get that much help. It's kind of what we add. I was going to talk about the videos, but that's a lot of Tom. So we do submissions and return videos just to add to the excitement of the service. So when you get your cards, you get to see them on video. It's really exciting. And then when you get them back, you get to see the grades. Everyone else does. Your Instagram gets tagged. I'm trying to add that excitement in instead of just being, I've graded my cards. I
really like that. So it feels more like a social experience than just like this personal, like, I'm in my basement, send off a box, get a box back, 6 months later or whatever. Do everyone's cards show up on video?
Unless they specifically ask not to be, then yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. And can you give us a sense of volume? Like how many people end up taking you up on this service?
Hundreds. So yeah, we've submitted tens of thousands of cards. over the course of
Hundreds
the
of
last
thousands. It's on our
hundreds of
website now.
thousands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the service has actually been running for 3 years. It ran more informally for a year through my collecting buddies, from my collecting friends. We'd all group in and we'd submit together. I was a big submitter at PSA anyway. And now we've evolved it into graded gem, and we kind of just evolved that to bring in all collectors. That's where the fun is.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
think
It's great to be able to see like everyone's cards. So it's not every day you see someone with a full collection of gold stars in real life, and then all of a sudden I'm filming a video. I'm like, oh, it's a Charizard from Evolutions, and then a Celebi gold star, Alakazam gold star, Mewtwo gold star. I'm like, what is going on? My mind is gone. I'm like, oh wow, yeah.
Because like how we'll prep things is Tom will look at stuff for my returns, so he'll prep it, and then I'll get the returns, and I'll be like, oh wow, I didn't know that was there.
Actually, usually you'll be like, my grades are awful. Why is it always
my
grades are awful?
If it's my grades, it always seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always make you live stream it as well.
Yeah, so we did a live stream on Hidden Fates, my returns, and they just seem to be awful. I mean,
you got the Charizards.
I did get the Charizards,
but nothing else.
Yeah. And when you're live streaming it, there's no backing out, right?
Exactly.
It's like people are going to see it.
Yes.
So, I'm curious how you sort of first got this relationship going with PSA, and eventually, how you got this official sort of like is it that they sponsor you, or you're sponsored by them, or you have an official certification?
Yeah, so they call it as an official dealer. So therefore, they've said, yes, it's okay. We recognize that it's okay for you to get in group submissions and send together. And from PSA's point of view, it's brilliant because they've got let's say 500 submitters, and they only have to deal with me or Tom. How much easier is that?
Yeah, also, someone's not signing up for a subscription to PSA for like 10 cards. However, they will send 10 cards through us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have all the, you can imagine the amount of emails, Instagram messages, and, all of that stuff that we get, PSA aren't getting. So therefore, they can offer us a better, competitive price. So therefore, we can have optimized the service for submitters and for PSA. It's kind of that sort of bridge that I think works really well. I think we try and by adding that excitement to the service, it's so important that. And PSA, at the end of the day, their job is to grade cards well. Their job isn't to excite you on your returns. When your card's coming back, they're not supposed to go, oh, well done, you've got a gem mint 10.
Oh, really? I thought when you open the box, like a bunch of glitter comes out. And
yeah. We can do that, though.
Yeah. And we like to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it when someone's got PSA 10s, or in like case of certain collectors, if they're going after PSA 1s or whatever, you see that they've got it and you're like, oh my God, you did it. You did it.
Yeah.
Great. That's good.
Yeah.
And you got to do all that without spending the money on the card yourself.
Yeah,
you get to hold the gold stars in your hand without giving up the cash.
Definitely a perk.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the Pokedex feature in the game, where like in order to have a Pokemon in your Pokedex, you don't have to own it permanently. It just has to have been there one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We get a lot of Instagram content.
Like
I'll see, for example, a PSA 10 Charizard from Stormfront or something, and I'm like, oh, that's an Instagram photo, and then send it back to the person. I got free content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how expensive? Like, imagine if you had to buy that card to use it as an Instagram post. Like you'd be spending literally thousands of dollars. I'm saying dollars, obviously, but you'd be spending loads and loads of money just to get one card.
Or $70 a month on Photoshop.
Yeah. But we're lucky enough that people will send us their cards and we'll get these awesome grades and we can share them with everyone.
Yeah. So I'm curious to hear basically your opinions. Knowing everything that you do about how the whole system works. Like, what is the future of PSA grading? Like, do you think the backlog is going to subside? Do you think people are going to get frustrated and start using other grading services? Are we going to see more ungraded cards because of the backlog? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
It's an interesting theory, because by having a backlog, you create less supply and therefore you make them more demanded. And a lot of these cards have gone up in price so much because PSA closed. And I think that just showed you how desired and desirable these cards are. The fact that returns just stopped coming here for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And therefore it just makes those cards so much more desirable. And that's why I sold out of my eBay shop almost. I've got 80 items left. And like, I think that shows you how strong the hobby is. I think a lot of people maybe overlook how big the hobby is, how strong it is, the fact that there can be so many YouTubers
Yeah.
and that.
Well, I'd say, like, if you look at what we're doing on
Mm.
on the kind of behind the scenes level, before COVID, it was big enough that we were busy. Since then, since PSA have closed, since PSA have been busy, it's got more and more and more busy every single week for us.
Yeah.
Like, it's not slowed down. In fact, it's increased 4x, 5x. Like, we're seeing more packages. So our deadline is the end of the month. We're seeing a full shelf of parcels on day one, day two of the month. And we're like, that doesn't usually happen. So I think people are wanting it more and more and more.
On the question about other grading services, there's definitely room if someone can do it well. My worry is I worry that no one can. BGS, I think, is great for sports.
Yeah.
I think they're brilliant at that sports thing. I worry in terms of trading cards, the lack of knowledge there. The other new competitors coming in, at the end of the day, my collection's in PSA. I don't know if your collection's in PSA, but most of people's collections are in PSA, and that is the standard. Anyone else coming in now, if you've got a let's say a new grading service AAA and you get a 9, you're going, this is a AAA 9, but is that the same as a PSA 8?
Yeah.
Like, it's no one cares about the other grading service. They just care about how it compares to PSA.
I think for modern stuff, there might be more
Yeah.
binder sets, but I think for vintage stuff, if you're not getting it PSA graded and it's like grade worthy,
Mm.
you're losing out on too much money. Like, you're just not doing it. If you've got a great Charizard first edition, you're not PSA in it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and there are services out there that will mean your cards will go out quicker.
Yeah.
We had to get commitment from PSA that those quicker services were going to happen and turn around quicker, because there's no way that we would charge submitters double the cost of grading if they weren't going to get their cards back considerably quicker.
Yeah.
So that's really important for us. We only just decided to move to the States in the last month because we thought we could do it. We found a great partner with James, someone who's very
so
knowledgeable.
just so I understand, it's James, Z and G Emporium, who we've interviewed on our channel too, and he's been talking a lot about this on his channel recently, which is super exciting. So tell me a bit about how that works. Like, is he basically doing physically the same thing you guys do, just like receiving packages and, packaging everything and making the videos?
Yeah. He's doing the PSA submission videos. He's obviously bigger than us on YouTube as well, which I think helps. He's bigger, so he's going to do the PSA submissions, PSA returns. He's also so knowledgeable on the hobby. I think he's been around. He's definitely been around longer than me, actually. I believe so. He's got so much knowledge, so much contact over there in America, and he's an awesome guy. Whenever we chatted to him, we haven't done any videos like this, actually. Ironically, what we've done is we've spoke to him about the process, procedure, shared all that with him, and how it works basically. And he's been on board for it all. I don't think we could have found someone better.
No, and it's not like we haven't looked. Like, we like branching out. So obviously we've got Graded Gem Germany and Graded Gem Italy as well, and those are with people like we extremely trust. And there was never anybody that stood out for the US, obviously the biggest market. And then James he couldn't have been a better match for Graded Gem. Because he is a collector, he is knowledgeable, he also cares about the way it's going in the future, and it's not just like, I could make some money now. It's about the long term.
I guess my question there would be, that's great. Like, for you guys, it's more than a full-time job, and I know that for him, it's kind of like a side hobby. I know it takes up more of his time than you know. But do you think it's possible for someone to do this, like, without committing, sort of going all in on it?
No. If I'm being honest, because what will happen is it will just become too big.
It snowballs.
You just if you do it well. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There is plenty of other grading services in the UK and Europe. There's plenty of graded gem alternatives, but there's a reason why people come to us, and that's because it's trust. Basically, at the end of the day, we will handle your cards with extreme care. We will make sure they get to PSA perfectly. PSA will input them as quickly as possible. Like, we've built the service to help collectors, to help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think there have definitely been some competitors that have tried to maybe cut costs and just go, oh, we can do it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And the problem is that they're doing it to the point where they're having to send out with super slow services to get to America. Never mind actually get to PSA and get input. Like, some people are like, oh, it takes a month to get to America. We've tried to make it as perfect as possible for a collector. Like, you don't have to wait around. You don't have to wait for your cards to be shipped. If your cards are shipped on Monday, they're there on Tuesday, and they'll be input as soon as humanly possible at PSA Card, even though they're busy. They're not waiting around. We're trying to offer the most premium service at a collector's kind of level. We're not going, oh, I want to earn £100 per card. Let's make money here. Let's make money there. It's not about that. It's about making this collection like hobby accessible to everyone with quality service.
Yeah.
So speaking of international shipping, I'm gonna get super nerdy here because I also, sell on eBay and buy on eBay for fun, right? And just like the whole system, confuses me to no end. And so the problem that I've encountered with even just like trading with other people in Facebook groups from the UK is the customs, right? And like either I can just like lie and say this is worth like $5 and like nobody pays any import or export charges on it. Or if I want to get the package insured, in order to get the insurance for like $200, I have to say that it's worth $200, and then you get slapped with this like major import charge. How does that work for you guys?
It's not really something we can go in detail on because it would be something that would be to a competitor's advantage.
Yeah.
However, what I can say is it's not a sale. So we're not selling the cards. We're not going to PSA, right, you're buying them. It's not that sort of transaction.
Yeah.
So therefore, some charges wouldn't always be on the case. The insurance is done by a third-party company.
Yeah, I was literally about to say insurance isn't with FedEx or any of those parties. Like, we have our own insurance agreement that covers it for while it's going to and from America, etc. So,
and that from the UK one, it's expensive. Like,
very expensive.
Like, at the end of the day, if you're setting up a brand new grading service and you want to implement that, it's not cheap.
No.
And if you're an individual submitter and you send 100 cards to PSA from the UK to the USA and they go missing, no one's going to care in the nicest way. Whereas if you send them to us and we send them out there, then we are fully covered. And therefore, why, if you were saving 50 pence by sending direct to America, why have the heartache?
And the thing is, most of the time it's not cheaper to send directly, especially from the UK, because you have to deal with customs, you have to deal with import and export, and you have to deal with like all the logistics. You have to deal with getting it there. People don't know how to send to America like normal people if they're not trading with America. And also, we have our own deal, which means we can still earn a margin whilst offering it for practically the same price that you'll be
right. And that makes sense. You have scale, right? Same thing with the insurance too. So it's great. It's like a win-win in terms of scale. And I would totally trade with you because it sounds like you will have my envelopes insured when you send me my cards.
That's good.
I want to ask also about, besides just the PSA side of things, you mentioned you have an eBay store. Like, is buying and selling cards a big part of your business, or it's more just a side hobby?
So that was my business previously. So that would like graded sales. It would be the eBay name. That I was quite a large seller in the UK. I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
So in the UK, I was quite a large seller. So by having, like you said, the scale and the volume, I was able to offer discount grading for everyone else. But then that's expanded bigger than that. I think a lot of it for me, especially 2-3 years ago, the joy came from grading my own collection pieces. So I would buy a Neo Destiny first edition set and I would send them over. I would keep the 10s and sell the 9s. You can't do that now.
No.
Like, realistically, it's definitely slowed down for me in terms of the actual store because it is just buying and selling. I don't enjoy that so much.
So it is the next steps now. So, for example, you've said you're going to move on to Cosmic Eclipse.
Yeah.
And cards sell for more than like the cost of grading plus the cost of the raw card. If you're getting a booster box, that's 36 packs. That's however many cards. You're after a certain few cards. And do you know what? You can grade some, sell them, buy your next booster box. And you've still got your 10s. And
I wish I could show. So I'm collecting advanced action cards. Now, these things are just incredibly difficult to obtain, but they're obscure. Is it? What's the word?
Lenticular.
They're lenticular. So the cards move about. I love them. They're cheap and fun. And I'm trying to be the first person in the world to get all the PSA 10s. And that's where the enjoyment comes from me. I chased obviously Neo Destiny first edition and I've got a few other sets, but you can't do that now. You can't chase them. You have to buy them because you're spending so much money on the sets. There's no point.
Well, yeah, there's a Neo Destiny first edition booster box up now for like $50,000, I think, on eBay, or $48,000, and it's like, you're not spending that, are you? No one's buying that to grade those.
The upside is a lot more people in the hobby, which is great. The downside is people like me who just like to troll eBay and like snipe things, right? Or just like find, just like the fun in finding something that's being undervalued by everyone else and taking a chance on buying some collection. Like there's just none of those left, or like none of them that aren't getting sniped within like 1 second.
Exactly.
That's definitely changed. I think that was a lot of the enjoyment was the buy-in. You'd be like, oh, I've got the Delta species hollows, and you were like, right, come on, I must be the only person looking at this, and then it goes up to £8.50 or $8.50, and then you get it for $10.50. Now we're talking $100, and you're like, oh, whoa, calm down a bit. And so you have to be so careful with every single purchase.
Yeah.
For my like serious collection, so I'm trying to collect EX Fire Red Leaf Green. I'm just buying the PSA 10s, and that's fine. I still enjoy doing that, but I much prefer graded them. That's why I'm so like crazy about these advanced action cards.
Yeah, you've gone a little bit crazy for them. It's like me with Radiant Collection.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grade them, but I've got a stack in the little display cabinet there of about 100 cards. I'm like, they're not 10, so I'm not even going to grade them. So like, I'm the world's most harsh pre-grader as well.
Yeah.
So if I say it's not 10, like it might be, but
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And so I guess I'm also curious about your view of like the financial side of things with Pokemon, right? So a bunch of people, I'm sure, who watch our channel and probably your channel as well, see it as either a collecting or as a hobby to flip and make money, or as long-term investment. So in terms of the latter, like where do you see the Pokemon market going? Are you more on, my side that like I think potentially there's going to be like a massive crash, if macroeconomic factors change, or more on, I guess I'm generalizing, but like Jake's side, he's a little bit more bullish in the long term, that even if there's some retrace, like in the long term, these things will retain, if not always increase their value.
Interestingly, I was going to talk, I think we were going to do a trading card talk about your last chance to buy Pokemon cards. It's my belief that there will be a retrace later this year and then early next year. And then, but the problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is, collectors like me will just buy their stuff. Like, it's just as soon, if the Gengar EX was $600, let's say, I would have it. And I don't know how many of me there are out there, but I'd imagine it's quite a lot. If there is any sort of retrace, the market is so strong, and there are so many people out there looking for these WotC EX cards. I think there's going to be more of a retrace in some areas. Some cards I look at and go, they're wildly overvalued for what they are. You have to be smart, though. You have to pick your areas still. Like, there's definitely areas. WotC First Edition, I don't think you're going to see too much of a retrace on the bigger cards, the low population cards. You're talking your Dark Magnetons, your like Togetic, your population's less than 50. If anyone puts that up for less than the last sale, someone will buy it immediately.
Right. I think the price memory is such a strong thing, right? That like it lasts for a long time, especially for people who enjoy flipping or just trying to buy things that are undervalued. You can't resist the temptation. You're like, according to 2 days ago, this price is now lower, I'm going to buy. So I think, in order for it to really crash, in my opinion, is a retrace that goes way down would take a really long time to happen for that reason. It wouldn't be overnight things are worth nothing, because people like you and me would buy those things the next morning for nothing, right? We'd buy all of it. But could that decline happen slowly over the long term, or you don't think so?
I don't think so.
No, I think we're underestimating the Pokemon community. I think it's a lot larger. TCG, if like the amount of submitters we have coming in, sure, some of them are like, I've just found a binder and they want to send it in. But there are others who are like, I'm so excited, I've got unlimited fossil, and then I want to send them in and get them graded, and then I'm going to keep the 9s. Hidden Fates was huge in terms of bringing in that excitement. Yeah. And if you look at recessions in the past, interestingly, there was many topics about what would happen to PSA cards or Pokemon in a recession. And most of them were like, oh, they'd come down because, there'd be less spending power. I don't think that's true. So cinemas and areas of entertainment like that, they went up in profitability and there was more engagement there. Different areas of the economy act differently. Even in a recession, I think Pokemon cards in general will just be on an uptrend. It's not that expensive to open booster boxes at home in comparison to going to America on holiday.
Yeah, my personal view is I think there will be $1 million Pokemon card within the next 5 years. Whether that's the Illustrator Pikachu or something, I'm not too sure. I don't see, especially because my theory for this has always been weird. It was kids kind of our age at school playing Pokemon, playing with cards, and we were always the kind of the nerdy kids who focused at school and played with Pokemon cards. We've got the best jobs. We've got stupid amounts of money. Some of us, like, I know games programmers on 150k a year, 200k a year, and plus. Some people are getting like 200 grand bonuses. If you want to blow your bonus on a Pokemon card, and you can, you're like, I want that card from that I couldn't get as a kid. And now it's a 10. I'll buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there might be a divergence. I think you're right. There will be more of a retrace on some cards in some parts of the market. But I think in others, I'm definitely more bullish. Where else are you going to get like Togetic First Edition PSA 10? They don't just come up on the market. Or your Typhlosion number 17. Like, that's such an obvious example. If that ever fell $5,000, it would be snapped up immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, if there was an overall retrace on Pokemon, I personally would be surprised. Will it slow down a little? Yeah, sure. But I think the trend of Pokemon is here to stay. I think it's proven itself. I'm 26, Tom's 26. We're looking to be into this till however long.
It's also getting influencer marketing constantly. Like, Nintendo are actually pushing, and the Pokemon Company are pushing this hard now. Like, they've always been the biggest media franchise in the world, obviously, but they've never kind of wanted to work with influencers. The last year, wow, they haven't stopped. They're just like, we will throw money at influencers, and it's obviously the best marketing strategy of like this decade, and it's gaining popularity in crazy areas.
Pokemon is cool now.
Yeah.
I don't think Pokemon was cool 2 years ago.
No, even with Pokemon Go, like, everyone played it for like 3 months to 6 months, and then it died. But it's back again. It's back again.
Yeah.
There's raid battles happening in Pokemon Go that you can do from your house.
Wow.
People are doing it.
I'll have to check it again. So we have only a few minutes left, and I want to end with two lighter questions. So the first one is, if you had to pitch a secondary trading card game or collectible card game, what would it be? What's your favorite?
Go on. You can do this one easier.
Well, you just asking me to do a Digimon or Harry Potter?
There we go. Yeah, there you go. Tom would do this.
I want a game where I can cast spells at people.
Yeah.
I want that. That's all I want.
And there is a Harry Potter trading card game?
Yeah, there is. I collect in. I'm trying to get all of the booster boxes, WotC sealed at the moment. Obviously, I'm not going to get them graded. You can't get a booster box graded, but that is my current collection piece. Is WotC.
So for those of us who know nothing about the Harry Potter trading card game, like, how much is like the Chase booster box?
So I've only paid. It's super cheap. I've paid £200. That's what, $250 for 3 of the 5 booster boxes so far. There's one, the base set, it's more expensive. That's probably like $200 on its own. But then the other one's like super cheap. I could pick that up for like $17. So
yeah,
nice.
I like the low value stuff.
Yeah, Connor, how about you?
This is going to sound so bad. You know the Godzilla Magic the Gathering set that recently came out?
Yeah.
Love it. I'm massive.
You want a King of Monsters game?
I've never been interested in Magic ever. Like, I'm sorry to any Magic fans out there. This Godzilla is epic. We've had these cards coming through. Baby Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla. And I love it. I love the films. That's why Groudon's my mascot, because of Godzilla. And I absolutely love it. I definitely need to buy a couple of booster boxes.
Do you start collecting the Ixalan cards?
I think I probably will.
Yeah,
PSA 10.
There's an awfully named one as well that you want to get, the banned one. There's one that's called like
Corona.
Yeah, Godzilla Death of Corona or something. It's crazy. And it's like, So Magic reprinted that, so there's only a couple of them out there as well.
Wow, that's interesting. So mine is, I've mentioned this before, I play Magic for fun. I'm not like a super serious player, but I'm really into the Star Wars CCG from the 90s. It was like, at the time, it was like second only to Magic, and I think it only died in popularity when Pokemon came out. So there's like a resurgence in that game. It's been out of print for what, like 20 something years, but there's a players committee that keeps it going. Basically, there's still tournaments every year and everything.
Surely the films and everything, like, we're massive Star Wars fans as well. We've just finished Mandalorian. Brilliant.
We're only like 6 months late or something.
Yeah, we've been busy the last 6 months.
Exactly. They shipped the DVD to you without all those extra shipping charges, so it took 6 months to get to you. So my last question is another fun one. Anything, could be a card, a set, a booster box in Pokemon right now that you think is undervalued, and one that you think is overvalued.
Ooh, that's a difficult one. Overvalued is quite easy. Charizard GX SV49. No, it's a year out. Get over it. I'll be honest, it's not worth what people are paying for it. They think it's Burning Shadows, and actually, undervalued card, Burning Shadows, PSA 10, Charizard GX.
Jake says the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's so... Hidden Fates is wonderful, and it's brought in so many new collectors. However, there's no reason to buy a card on its value in 3 years' time now. Like, that card shouldn't be that big.
that Burning Shadows Charizard is like impossible to pull as well.
Yeah.
Like, the pull
You're talking
is
about the
so
rainbow,
good.
right? Not the
Yeah. For me, I think undervalued would be anything but Radiant Collection, and everyone should drop their price on Radiant Collection so I can buy it. Plays no sense. But like overvalued, I'm gonna say it. Base set first edition cards. Hello.
Ooh.
Like, I don't know anyone that prefers I only care about artworks. You hate me for this.
Yeah.
He hates that I don't care about like how much it's worth. I care about the card art isn't as good as the sets that follow it. Like, if you go, I think Team Rocket should be more expensive because it's cooler looking. Just in terms of you see Rocket grunts everywhere and you see Giovanni and stuff, and that excites me. I don't know. I'm not excited by base set.
So on that line,
by the fact it's
one set I love, I think is way underrated. The recent one, the Team Aqua, Team Magma, like subset. You know, I don't know if you've seen that one.
So
but every
good.
card is owned by Team Magma, Team Aqua, and then the Groudon EX and Kyogre EX are amazing. Those cards, you can get them ungraded for still like less than $10 or something.
Yeah. I think you even like the Kyogre.
Yeah, to be fair, the Kyogre is even okay.
Which you hate every Kyogre out of principle, but you like the Team Aqua's Kyogre.
I'm obviously a big fan of primes as well.
Yeah.
So I've got the full PSA ticket. I love those cards. The big heads. I don't know if you ever played 007 GoldenEye, where there was a big head cheat. So you could just go around getting the criminals with their big heads. And that's literally probably the only reason why I collected primes. But yeah, they're good fun as well.
I'm going to get so much hate, aren't I? For saying that.
Yeah, you are, yeah. I'm the more serious one. Let's put it that.
Yeah, I just like pretty things.
Yeah, there you go.
And Harry Potter.
And Harry Potter,
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will continue to be in touch, and we will obviously link to your channel at the bottom. But until then, take care.
Yep.